What's up, Cubs fans? Happy 4th of July, and welcome to another show on the Cubs baseball channel. Cubs drop another one to the Phillies. They are now a season high 13 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers and now 6 back in the wild card race. Is it time to unplug the season? Crow-Armstrong had a big day last night. Cody Bellinger is heating up, but is it too little too late for the Cubs' so-called superstar? That and more on the Cubs baseball channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Get in that comment section. Let us know how you're feeling about this team as we tread closer and closer to this season's trade deadline. But here's your invitation to our 4th of July show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. My name is Anthony Pasquale, as always on Twitter at ant_Pasquale3. Make sure to find me on there and make sure to find our channel, the Cubs baseball channel, as you see at the top of your screen. We're now on Twitter, Cubs_channel, or you could just type in Cubs baseball channel. It should come up. Follow us on there. We're going to get started on posting some more content on there. So engage with us there, interact, get in our comment section there, as well as on Instagram, Cubs baseball channel. We're going to be trying to clip some of our shows and put them on there to try to engage a little bit on some of the other social media. So make sure to follow us on there so you don't miss anything from us at the Cubs baseball channel. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this 4th of July. Usually this is right in the midpoint of summer, and for the good teams, it's when you start thinking about not only the playoffs, but who could we be adding at the end of this month to make our team better as we try to go win a championship. And as much as I would like the Cubs to be in that headspace, here we are on July 4th, and it's almost a foregone conclusion that this team is going to be torn apart at the trade deadline yet again. That'll be 3 times in the last 4 seasons. Truly unacceptable. And you look at Wrigley Field this week, the place is packed. They want a winner, and they deserve a winner so bad. But unfortunately, Tom Ricketts, Jed Hoyer, Craig Counsell and company cannot combine to make this team a winner right now. And they lose another one to the Phillies yesterday by the score of 5-3. Zack Wheeler was on the mound against Shota Imanaga. Honestly, Imanaga was better than Wheeler. He pitched a strong game. The strikeout numbers were back. They'd been a little bit lacking for Imanaga, but he went 6 innings, struck out 8, only walked 1, gave up 3 earned runs, both all of the earned runs scoring on 2 home runs. So that's kind of been his bugaboo as of late, Imanaga. He's been giving up some balls that are leaving the yard, which has been the case for some of the Cubs pitchers that have recently started to struggle. Hayden Wesneski is another guy that comes to mind who has allowed, I believe, 10 home runs in his last 20 innings pitched. Obviously, those numbers aren't as drastic for Imanaga, but all the runs scored by the Phillies against Imanaga yesterday came on a homer. And actually, the go-ahead run also came on a homer off of Tyson Miller after an error. Alec Boehm went yard to give the Phillies a 5-3 lead that they eventually held on to. Offensively for Chicago, Crow-Armstrong was the bright spot. He had 2 RBI doubles and a stolen base. That's his 16th of the year. He's now 16 for 16 on the season. He has not yet been caught stealing. He leads the league in steals without being caught this season. And it made me think, what's the record for steals without being caught to open your career? And the correct answer is 28. So Pete Crow's got a little bit of a ways to go in that realm, but he played a really strong game yesterday. The defense is always solid. The base running is always awesome. But when you get him lining balls the other way for doubles and driving and runs, that's the type of hitter that you want to see him mold into as the years go by. He had a pair of hits. So did Michael Busch and Cody Bellinger. Back-to-back 2-hit games, really starting to hit the ball hard. He had a double as well, his 15th double of the season. But for Bellinger, is he heating up a little too late? I mean, I know it was right around this time last year when he really kicked it up a notch and became one of the best players in baseball for July, August, as the season rolled along. But the Cubs are in a pretty big hole here. Like, they're not 4 games back. They're 13 games back in the division. And you look at the wild card, they're 6 games back with 7 teams to jump if they want to get into that 3rd wild card spot. Obviously, Cody Bellinger being hot at the plate pays dividends and goes a long way toward the Cubs getting back into the swing of things. But I feel like it might be coming a little too late for Cody Bellinger. Where was this in May and June when the team needed it so bad? Hopefully, if nothing else, it drives his stock up a little bit so the Cubs can maximize the return on Bellinger. I think that's kind of where your head has to be at right now, which, again, sucks to say, but like Craig Counsell said, you have to make good decisions. And right now, keeping this team together and throwing one last ditch effort of getting this team into the postseason isn't going to cut it, because all that's going to do is make you bring the same team back again for next season, and you're going to face the same problems again next season. So you definitely have to shake some things up, and we'll see eventually what Jed Hoyer decides to do come the end of this month. I believe July 30th is the trade deadline, and that's going to be a day circled on our calendars for sure. In minor league news, I think Mick talked about this already, but the Cubs have 3 players named to the futures game. Owen Casey, the outfielder for the AAA Iowa Cubs. Moises Ballesteros, the catcher, DH first baseman, who has been rising through the Cubs system and prospect rankings. He is now in AAA and still tearing the cover off the ball. And Matt Shaw, still in AA. I know there were some rumors that he was going to be called up to AAA, but not quite yet. But all 3 will be named to the futures game. And some other news, this bad news, Brennan Davis injured himself with a fractured back. And it looked like yesterday Matt Mervis injured himself and will be out for quite some time. So as the Cubs look to potentially make some trades and make some adjustments to the roster, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing these 2 guys back up in Chicago anytime soon. I'm sure names like Alexander Canario certainly come to mind as a guy that can come up and make an instant impact. We'll see if that moment comes, but the Cubs are going to have some guys coming back from injury as well. You've got Mike Tauchman on the injured list, and then on the pitching staff, Jordan Wicks, Ben Brown, Javier Assad, all starters who should be back by the end of July, I want to say. And then there are some relievers that are getting close to coming back too. Mark Leiter Jr., Julian Merriweather. The only one that doesn't seem imminent, aside from Adbert Alzolay, who has been shut down, is Yency Almonte, who has gotten a second, third opinion, and they're thinking potentially surgery might be the way to go. But still a little too early to tell on that. Let's take a look at the standings. I don't even want to pull them up. They're so abysmal to look at. It's so disappointing and deflating and unfortunate. So let me just say it this way. The Cubs, it's as bad as it's been. Cubs are now 13 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers in the NL Central and 6 games back in the wild card race. Unacceptable. We all deserve better. We know we deserve better. It's just we love this team, so we're going to go out and watch them. We're going to turn them on, and we're going to root for the Cubbies. And if they don't win, it's a shame. It's been a shame far too often this season. The Cubs numbers now down to a poor 5.7% chance to make the playoffs, just a 1.1 chance to win the division as it stands right now on July 4th. Cubs take on the Phillies today at 1:20 at the Federal Landmark. It should be a beautiful day for baseball, a little 4th of July action. It's Jameson Taillon on the mound for the Cubs, 4-4 on the year with a 3.03 ERA. He's been excellent, and he's up against a pitcher who's also been excellent, Christopher Sanchez, 6-3 on the year with a 2.41 ERA. Only Tomas Nido has faced him so far, and he's 0 for 5, I believe. No, 1 for 5 with an RBI in there. And then the Phillies have a lot of experience with Jameson Taillon. Nicholas Castellanos, Alec Boehm, Cody Clemens, and Whit Merrifield have all had pretty strong success against Taillon. Trey Turner is a guy that has not had a whole lot of success. Brandon Marsh has hit 2 home runs off him, so it'll be interesting. But Taillon has pitched much better as of late, and you'd be a fool to not expect the same thing to continue with this Cubs rotation. They just crank out quality starts, and unfortunately the offense and the defense haven't been good enough behind them to turn those quality starts into wins. I believe I saw the stat. I don't have the official number, but the Cubs lead the league in quality starts that end up being losses. And that's what you're seeing on a day-to-day basis while watching this team. I saw somebody on Twitter, I think it might have been David Kaplan, so I'll give him some credit, that said, like, we're not knocking Counsell. It's not his fault that this has happened. but we paid $8 million a year for a manager, and all we get is Groundhog Day because it's the same game over and over and over again. But hey, today's the 4th of July. Hopefully we get a little bit different out of this Cubs team. But for now, thank you guys for coming to the Cubs baseball channel, chatting with us, chopping it up, get in that comment section. Let us know your thoughts, how you're feeling about this team. Like and subscribe, ring the bell, and hopefully we'll be talking to you tomorrow after a Cubs win and we preview the rest of the homestand against the Angels. Go Cubs.